The question is, why does the Torah begin with a letter Beis? The first letter in the Torah is not the Aleph, which is the first letter of the Aleph Beis, but rather the first letter of the Torah is a Beis. Now, I know some of you might know a half an answer, and they're saying, well, we know the answer. What? You know an answer? What? Why? The simple answer is, if you get the second answer, you're coming back with me tomorrow. The first answer is because Beis stands for bracha, which is blessing. That's the common answer. But I want to share another answer and take a bit of a paradigm shift now to a new topic. According to Rabbi Akiva, according to the great sage Rabbi Akiva, listen to this very, very carefully. Ladies, you're going to love this. Guys, I'm not sure about. But the ladies are going to love this. The Torah begins with the letter Beis because Beis equals 2. The gematria of Beis is 2. 2 means God created the world for 2 things, for man and woman. The question is, who's greater? Is the man greater or the woman greater? To find out the answer, you have to buy my new book. No. The answer is like this. The Gemara says like this. When God created Adam and Eve, Adam and Chava, they were a hermaphrodite, okay? Back to back, like this. Adam and Chava were back to back, man and woman back to back. What God did after that, he sliced them down the back. That's why our backs are straight. Men, straighten your backs. Okay? That's why we have straight backs. Because we have the operation just down our back, and then he brought them face to face. Now, we can talk about this for a long time. Why did God do this? Why did God need to make a hermaphrodite, then separate them, then bring them back face to face? On the most simple level is to teach every one of us that both male and female must have both components. You must possess both feminine and masculine traits. If a man is only masculine and lacks sensitivity, he is not a man. If a woman is only feminine and lacks masculine traits, she's not a woman. To be a healthy human being, a mensch, you need to have both. Now, I want to tell you something very honestly here, okay, amongst friends, okay? I believe very seriously and very honestly that some men have more feminine qualities and some women have more masculine qualities, and that's fine. That's okay. As long as we have both, then you are a healthy human being, and that's okay. It doesn't mean because you have more feminine quality than you're a man that you're a woman. It doesn't mean that. It means that you're a man who's more feminine, and that's great. We'll soon talk about that. Now the question is, who's greater? Who's greater? Male or female? Shh. The answer is found in the letter Beis. The answer is found in the letter Beis, because you see the letter Beis is made up of 2 letters. It's made up of a dalit on top and a vav on the bottom. The vav is horizontal. Says the Kabbalah. Okay, this is the Kabbalah here. The dalit represents the woman, and the vav represents the man. Why that's so? You have to buy my first book, Letters of Light, to figure that out. But you could trust me. You could trust me. The dalit represents the woman, and the vav represents the man. The woman stands above the man. And that's the way it's going to be when Mashiach comes. Eishes chayil ateres baila, the woman of valor will be the crown of her husband, will be above the husband. Now, this is true on many, many levels, many layers. In other words, within the man himself, there are these feminine qualities. We have to access them. That is messianic. When a man becomes more feminine and a man is more sensitive, that is messianic. Okay. There's a mitzvah, a powerful mitzvah, and that is for women to light Shabbos candles every Friday evening. And I want to talk about this mitzvah for a moment. Can I get a raise of hands? How many ladies light the candles every Friday evening? Okay, and now I want a raise of hands of how many women will be lighting this Friday evening. Excellent. All right, Baruch Hashem. Rabbi, remember to send out an email to remind them. Okay. Let me share with you a very profound Kabbalistic numerology on the lighting of candles. This is a teaching of the Lubavitcher Rebbe. And he says like this. We see that women are always first when it comes to Torah and mitzvos and Judaism. When it came to the giving of the Torah, God tells Moses, first talk to the women, then talk to the men. He first spoke to the women, then he spoke to the men. I believe, by the way, this is the source of the line that we say ladies and gentlemen. It came from the Torah. First talk to the women, then talk to the men. Now, why is it that God said to Moses, first talk to the women, then talk to the men? It goes back to Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden. God told Adam to tell his wife not to eat from the tree. And he messed up. He told her, don't touch the tree. So God realized he can't trust men. Okay? It's not a new story. It's an old story. So God said, we're going to trust the women. And he tells Moses, forget about the guys. Talk to the ladies. Tell them, Koi soymar lebeis Yaakov, so shall you tell the house, the women of Jacob. So when it came to the Torah, women were first. When it came to building the temple, the guys didn't want to give money. The women gave the money first. Then the guys ran after and gave the money. So we see in Judaism, women always initiated things that were good and holy. Now, the same is true every Shabbos. Every Shabbos, before the sun sets, 18 minutes before the sun sets, the women already bring in the Shabbos, the holy Shabbos. The men need another 18 minutes to get their act together. They don't know what shoes they're putting on, what socks they're putting on, what tie they're going to take. My wife gets dressed 3 hours before me. I'm still looking around for my tie. She's already ready. Women, 18 minutes before Shabbos, already bring in the holy Shabbos. When do men bring in the Shabbos? They come home from the synagogue an hour later. They make Kiddush an hour later. But women already brought in the Shabbos 18 minutes before sunset. What do? They light the candles. Why do they light candles? What's so important about lighting candles? Here's where the Kabbalah comes in. The gematria, the numerical computation for the word ner, which is candle, is 250. You can follow it on the chart. The word ner is nun reish. Nun is 50, reish is 200, 250. Now, what is so important about the number 250? There are 248 positive commandments in the Torah. And every commandment needs to be done with love and awe, with emotion. Unfortunately, many men do mitzvos robotically without that oomph, without that excitement, without that love, without that emotion. Women are more in touch with their emotions than men. So when the women of the house, the mother, and the sisters and the daughters light the Shabbos candles, what they are saying is as follows. Baruch atah Hashem, Elokeinu melech haolam. Blessed be God, King of the universe. I pray that my children, my spouse, my brothers will be inspired by these candles, that they will begin to do the 248 positive commandments of the Torah. And they will do it, not because they have to, not because they're coerced, not because the rabbi said, you have to do so, but because they really want to, because they see the love, they see the light, they see the joy in doing the mitzvah. And that is why the women light the candles every single Friday night. It's their role. It's their mission. They are empowered with that ability to bring light to the entire world and to inspire their husbands and their children. 2 more thoughts before the closing thought. Okay. It goes like this. One of the most romantic stories in the Talmud is the story of Rabbi Akiva and his wife Rachel. To make a long story short, Rachel came from a very, very wealthy home. Her father wanted her to marry the best scholar in the yeshiva in Jerusalem. And she had her eyes on Akiva the shepherd. When her father found out that she married Akiva the shepherd, he basically took her out of her will. He did not give her any money, and she had to become a janitor, literally going from house to clean to make money. But she said, I see greatness in Rabbi Akiva. She sends him away to yeshiva. Rabbi Akiva was 40 years old. He could not read the Aleph base. Okay, he could not read the Aleph base. And he said to himself, being a shepherd, he saw how water every day would come down on a rock. And every day there was a drop and a drop and a drop. And one day the rock split. And he said to himself, if my brain is the rock and water is Torah, eventually the Torah can get into my brain. So his wife says, go away to yeshiva. He goes away for 12 years. He comes back with 12,000 students. He's about to come home into his house, and he hears his wife talking to the neighbor. And the neighbor says to his wife, Rachel, aren't you proud of your husband? He couldn't read Aleph Beis 12 years ago, and now he's the greatest rabbi in Israel. He says, yes, I am so proud of him. I don't care if he goes another 12 years and comes back with 24,000 students. Rabbi Akiva turned around. He didn't even come home. He went back to the yeshiva another 12 years. He comes back with 24,000 students. Now here's the punchline. He's now walking up to the house in Jerusalem with 24,000 students surrounding him. And his wife, in tattered clothing, sees her husband from afar. She begins to run and dash to try to connect with her husband, who she hasn't seen in 24 years. The students make a circle around the husband, around Rabbi Akiva, to protect him from this maniac, this crazy woman who's charging at their rabbi. And she jumps underneath the student and grabs Rabbi Akiva's feet. She's holding on to his feet. And now they're pulling her away from Rabbi Akiva. And he says the following line. What is mine and yours is all hers. You see, women have that power. Women have that ability to transform their spouse, to transform their children, and to transform the world. The Talmud says it's in the merit of the righteous women that our forefathers were redeemed from the land of Egypt. And so too now in this generation, we are reincarnations. Yes, Judaism believes in reincarnation. We are reincarnations of the souls that left the land of Egypt. It's b'schar noshim sitkonius. It's in the merit of all you, righteous women. Look at yourself. It's up to you to make sure that this generation is the last generation of Galus and the first generation of Geula, redemption. We want Mashiach now. Thank you.